Hello and welcome back to TF1C, the Formula 1 chat. Today we're doing our review of the US Grand Prix. It was actually a decent race, to be fair.
I think it's probably the second best or the third best we've seen this year.
I feel like usually US, sort of the glitz, the glamour, the over-exaggeration of literally everything.
Big Shaq in his...
Yeah, but it kind of takes away from the main event. Like last year we had a brilliant battle for the lead. But all I remember from that race was Shaq in his Cadillac. And it was great to see him back again this year. I do like Shaq. But yeah, when you've got like dramatic intro, ear-piercing national anthem.
God,
I mean, it's not even that the song was terrible, it's just performed horrifically. But yeah,
I think
it does kind of take away from the event. But this year's race was very memorable.
Apart from Saudi, I think it's joint with Britain.
In terms of battle for the lead, in terms of strategy, we had incidents.
It was a very good race. I really enjoyed it.
So whenever George Russell decides to take someone out of turn one, we get an interesting
But once again, it
race.
shows that having three teams battling at the sharp end of Formula 1 is a lot more exciting than two. Because most this year it's just been Red Bull and Ferrari. Well, most this year it's just been Max. And then obviously most of last year it was just Red Bull versus Mercedes.
Do you think it would be a better or worse fight though if we started in formation? So Ferraris, Red Bull, Max. Because in my opinion, that creates a less interesting race.
Yeah.
Because the Red Bulls would have jumped the Ferraris, Perez defends and Max clears up the road. Maybe Hamilton sneaks a podium.
The fact no one else had their teammates up there, it was Verstappen versus Leclerc versus
Hamilton. It's the battle everyone wanted to see. Yeah. Harsh on Carlos. I think that's where we start. Lap one. Actually, we should probably start with qualifying.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the incident.
Really good from Ferrari. They took a 1-2.
Yeah. They did do that.
I've made sure, but obviously Leclerc's 10 place grid dropped into 12. So it doesn't actually count technically as a 1-2, but Sainz on pole. It's a good race.
It's a weird decision to take it this weekend. I get it. USA's a track where incidents happen, you can make overtakes, and he took advantage of that. I agree. But do you not think next weekend, high altitude, the home of Checo Perez, I can't see anything other than a Red Bull 1-2? So would it not make more sense to take it next weekend where you're probably going to lose all your points anyway? And especially since they could have kept the championship alive this weekend if they were both up there.
I don't think Charles would have won anyway. I think Max would have won no matter what. Because Charles technically was still right up there. Because he was safe.
Equally, if it was 1-2 Ferrari, 3-4 Red Bull, then it would have been the Red Bulls took out by the Mercedes rocket. Not rocket, bullet.
We're going to start this. We'll go from the top down to the bottom. Obviously Ferrari... it's good quality, but Sainz getting smacked out by Russell.
It's what we've had with Ferrari all year. It's brilliant one-lap pace. Yeah. But over longer stints, and as soon as you come to pit stops, and having to plan everything out, it goes to complete shit.
I think it also comes down to Max. Max hasn't looked as good as he did in quali, as he did last year. But in the race, he's been ridiculous.
They've not been able to hook up that RB... Is it 18?
I think one of them.
RB19, as well as they did last season, so...
Yeah.
But yeah... Still had strong pace, 3-4 for Red Bull. Obviously, Perez took that 5-place grid penalty. Yeah. Kind of annoying he qualified as low as 4th, because I mean, he started down in 9th with just a 5th place. So, arguably, should he have taken more penalties, potentially? After that, maybe they could have switched out another component, took another 5th place. Then it was the Mercedes and the 5-6. They looked quick this weekend. And obviously, they were elevated up to a 3-4. Yeah. And then Lance Stroll 7th.
Right to 5th. Really good, and I thought, oh wow, Stroll, starting high, can he score points? Yeah. Do
you want to round out the starting grid then? Because obviously Stroll up to 5th.
Yeah, so Lando then took 6th, that was a really good result from McLaren with his teammate down in 16th. Bottas, same thing, he was in 7th, Zhou down in 19th. Albon P8, same, his teammate down in 20th. Then
the fact you've just put Latifi and Ricciardo on the same level this year.
Ricciardo, it's a horrific weekend.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen the interview? He seemed really sad afterwards.
Yeah, because he loves America and he came on a horse, and I thought this could be his week, you know.
He's come on a horse. That's what's
and then he might as well race on the horse. He'd have gone quicker.
Potentially, yeah.
Perez 9th, obviously with the grid drop, and then Vettel 10th. Really good result for Aston Martin. AlphaTauri 11th, 13th. Obviously, we talked about Leclerc in 12th. Alonso 14th, but he did well and then didn't do well. He's had an up and down weekend.
That was not his fault at all. No. He looked so good this weekend, and his points have been taken away through some very strange decisions and some poor erratic driving.
Haas in quali had an absolute mare with a 15-18, but they managed to resurrect that in the race.
Pretty smart strategy, which we'll get on to.
Ocon 17th, obviously he had a surprise knockout, but then decided to start from the pit lane anyway.
Yeah, so should we start with lap 1, turn 1?
Carlos Sainz is out.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a brilliant start from Max Verstappen. Very quick off the lights, zoomed off, was into P1 already. I thought race done really in it. And to be fair, it should have been if it wasn't for Red Bull's blunder. Then the Mercs following behind Carlos Sainz.
Bang.
George Russell forgets to use his brakes and just slaps into him. Carlos puncture. They decide to retire the car.
Merc fans overrate George Russell.
Yeah, he's had so many examples this season of poor racecraft. He's not even got sensational pace, I wouldn't say.
Consistency.
Consistently
exactly.
fucking shite. Like, last 2 rounds scored, 4 points?
Yeah.
I think since Hungary, he's really struggled, George. Like, first half of the season, he was right up there with Lewis in terms of pace.
Since he got that
points,
pole and then lost the win, he hasn't been the same driver.
And yet, he's now, 30 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah.
Ahead of Carlos Sainz in the championship?
Hamilton also had a brilliant drive, to be honest. And if it wasn't for the absolute... For Max Verstappen, who dominated this year...
Equally, he wouldn't have got there without Red Bull's blunder.
No.
And
it was very rare for Red Bull to have a blunder. But it doesn't matter, because Red Bull can have as many blunders as they had to do, and Max Verstappen will still win the race.
Then the second incident... So we had a safety car, didn't we, for Valtteri Bottas. He spun, I think he just caught at the tailwind. It was very gusty.
That brought Leclerc right back into the race with the free pit stop.
Came out in 4th, I believe it was. So smart from him. And then we saw on the first lap of the safety car restart what I can only describe as a disgrace from Lance Stroll. Like, already we're seeing a great example of poor driving from George Russell, just piling into a Ferrari. And then we see this erratic late move from Stroll that causes Alonso to be airborne.
It's annoying because Stroll is a quick driver, but he's
got
so
pace.
erratic.
And that Aston looked really good this weekend. The fact that he only scored 6 points, 8 points, right? Yeah, 8 points I think it was. From this weekend is 6 points. Yeah, it came 7th. So, yeah, the fact they only scored 6 points and they were in a 3-5 at one point.
It was ridiculous from Lance. I just don't know. And if that's a couple of yards further back, further up the straight, Alonso's gone into the service wall.
Or, even worse, he goes flying to where all the marshals are stood. If he doesn't clip any of the walls.
But, hats off to Alonso, though, to not actually put it in the wall. Somehow he held it. I don't know how. This man is just ridiculous.
He just rode the wall, got back into it.
And carried on going.
Ultimately, though, the damage he received would see the end to his race. Not really the end of his race. He fought through the pack, ended up P7. Superb drive, and then the FIA, and after a request from Haas to look into it, decided to penalise him with a 30-second penalty following... because he had too much damage on his car, apparently.
It was quite unsafe. Dropped into 15th spot, got his teammate into the points in P10. Where we talked about Mercedes with Hamilton's superb drive.
I was going to say, should we run through teams in reverse championship order? And then we'll get to constructors at the end. But
Williams.
Oh dear. They had no pace this weekend. Albon snuck up into the points, slipped down in the last few laps.
It was a bit frustrating, but
he went long, didn't he, on the mediums?
Yeah, and they got the free pit stop. But he had a really good race.
Latifi,
he spun at one point. And he was still only 13 seconds off Daniel Ricciardo. Who's after Williams?
Is it Alpha Tauri?
They're not that bad, surely.
Yeah, it's Alpha. Alpha. No, it's not Alfa Romeo, is it?
I don't know. Should we just go up in the order I see the drivers at the bottom?
Sure.
So Ricciardo, right? Yeah, I love him, but I'm glad. I feel so sorry for him. And Lando,
considering he was 10 places behind his teammate,
Lando, great
8 points.
Lando drove a really good race. Came through at the end.
I was questioning whether potentially Aston Martin could jump.
No.
I mean, I think they'll get Alfa Romeo. Well, if they kept that 5-6,
yeah, but they didn't.
That's a good 18 points.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't really materialise.
Obviously,
Lando went off in those final few laps as well, just overtaking everything.
Alonso, we talked about his penalty. Ocon took a point because of Alonso's penalty. Not a great weekend for Alpine. Haas. Schumacher was running in the points for most of the race and then fell back to P14. Kevin bloody
I was going
Magnussen
to say.
on the one
Smashed
stop.
it. And gained a spot because he snitched on Alonso.
P8, 4 points. He was
And
running
in fact,
P6.
could have been even higher.
Before Lando and Vettel came.
I was going to say Vettel's move on the final lap.
Very good.
One of the best moves I've ever seen.
He really enjoyed
Around the outside of a fast corner, down the inside of the next. He should have been a lot higher.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucked over by Aston Martin's 16-second stop. As in, he was stopped for 16 seconds. He was
couldn't get that
stationary.
Left on. So disappointing for him. AlphaTauri, Gasly out the points.
2 points for Yuki though.
But yeah, Yuki. Before this race, he had the longest non-point scoring streak of the entire grid.
Yeah, and as for Pierre, it was just an absolute shit show. Penalties.
In quali, obviously moaned about his brakes. I think he's looking forward.
Still started P10.
I think he's looking forward to leaving the Red Bull family and going to Alpine.
Seeking horizons new.
Yeah. Obviously, Williams we've already talked about. Alfa Romeo and Zhou P11. He drove a good race, very, very close to the point.
Unlucky to miss out.
Bottas, he spun, beached it.
Yeah, not much he could do. It's very windy. Even Max Verstappen out in front was complaining about the wind.
Yeah, we'll talk about Alpine, talk about the Vettel, just touch on it again. Yeah, super drive from him, and an absolute horrific mistake from Stroll. I don't know what he was thinking, to be honest. Yeah, out of his depth at the front and just drove like an idiot. So he found himself out. We talked about McLaren, obviously Merc,
I think they've thrown away a lot of points this weekend. I really think they do. They did. Because they started 3-4 on the grids, and yet George Russell got passed by Leclerc and Perez.
That's Russell's. I mean, Leclerc.
Ultimately, by batting.
Leclerc got a free pit stop.
Yeah, well, if he hadn't took Sainz out,
and
maybe.
5 seconds.
Yeah,
obviously.
And he looks further away because he pitted as well, didn't he? On the final few laps to go for fastest lap. He did get that fastest lap point, 11 points for George Russell.
Hats off to Hamilton. Drove a really, really good race.
Had some Stroll pace. Couldn't really stop Max Verstappen. Max was insanely quick.
I don't think it was the right idea to go onto the hards. But I feel like maybe
he seemed more comfortable on that tyre than the mediums. I think the Merc tyre wears too fast.
And then Red Bull, obviously Perez P4, good damage limitation. Loses out the Charles, but recovering from P9, and he only had he lost a bit of his wind, didn't he?
Yeah,
he drove a whole race without a front end plate. On his
still fourth, and that was enough. Obviously, with Max in first, to seal the constructors race. Finally.
Yeah, so
and we've known it was come for a while now. It was a matter of when, not if. So
superb race from Max. Obviously, the 11-second stationary stop for him from Red Bull really cocked him up, but he recovered and. Yeah, I mean, it was great to see him and Hamilton battling again. That was brilliant to see. Yeah. And no one made any contact this time, so it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, and then obviously Ferrari a disappointing weekend really. Sainz definitely should have been up there. He's very harshly taken out of the race by George Russell, as we've mentioned.
Leclerc wouldn't have got there without the Bottas safety car.
No, but you've got to take advantage of the luck that comes your way, haven't you? And on one hand, Ferrari were booted out of the race by George Russell, and on the other, they're brought back into it by Valtteri Bottas. So, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? In Formula 1.
To top the whole weekend off, it couldn't have got any better. Sebastian Vettel got driver of the day.
Yes, that was super, and very well deserved. And then we saw on the podium, we saw Shaq rock up in his Cadillac. Then all the Red Bull crew.
It was called a Badillac.
It was called #Badillac on the front, and then all the Red Bull crew jumped in that to celebrate their constructors, and then
that's brilliant. So both championships wrapped up now.
Yeah, still 3 rounds to go though.
Yeah, but I do
like Mexico this coming weekend.
The only thing I do like from this is, and like what Martin Brundle said, is now that both championships are sealed, it's just going to be gloves off. Let's just race.
Yeah, no one's worried about losing their wing or taking damage and then losing points. So we are just going to see pure racing. I really hope next weekend is a Checo win.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Just top the whole season off, really.
It would.
If I was Ferrari,
sensational. And then Brazil and Abu Dhabi, the final 2 rounds of the season. I'm very excited. We saw how good the racing was at Abu Dhabi last year. Towards the end, hopefully we see similar scenes. And Brazil as well, always a good track. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited for the end of the season. I think it should be good.
I hope to see some more close racing.
Some stunning close racing.
That was how good the racing was.
I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, hopefully we do see some breathtaking racing. That's about all for today though. Friday we'll be back. with Mexico predictions. And then, that's about all. Thank you all very much for watching. Get involved in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the race? All that kind of stuff. And yeah. Usually ask for predictions, but this is a review. I was like lost for what I was supposed to ask for. But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you all very much for watching. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.